So today I'm going to make some healthy enchiladas and using some boneless skinless chicken in the air fryer. I can't remember exactly how many pieces. I haven't made this recipe in a while, but it is one of my favorites. It's inspired by someone like a recipe I've had in the past, but I changed it up a little bit just to make it even higher protein, and it tastes really good. But I'm hoping to have an extra piece of chicken because my husband ate a piece of my chicken for work, and therefore I need to replace that. So I'm just going to put in a couple pieces of chicken into the air fryer, and I'm going to put that in at 400 degrees for roughly anywhere between 20 to 25 minutes roughly. Just keep an eye on it. As long as it hits a temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit, your chicken is cooked. I like to cook it a little longer just because I have this thing with chicken. So we're going to start there so then we can shred that chicken after to make these enchiladas. So while I'm waiting on the chicken, I am going to shred roughly a cup of cheese. A lot of times you can use whatever you want. I'm using a mixture of Monterey Jack with jalapeno in it, just because I like that little bit of extra spice. And I'm using a marble because it's high in protein. I want to make this as high in protein as possible because as we get older, especially us women hitting menopause years, we need more protein. Not only to help keep us slim, but to keep our bones strong and all that stuff. So I'm going to mix it up and do a little bit of both. And we're just going to roughly get about a cup's worth. This is also where you need some muscle because this, I mean, luckily I'm only doing a cup, but when I make lasagna for the family dinners and stuff like that, there's a lot of freaking cheese that needs to be grated. This one's not so bad, like I said, because, you know, we only need roughly a cup. It kind of keeps it lower fat, but still delicious. And of course, every time that you're cutting cheese, if you have little bangers like me, you always got to pay the cheese tax. There you go. Did you give your dog the cheese tax? All right, so I'm still cooking a couple of pieces of the chicken, but I'm going to start with this one for now, as the other is not quite cooked, but this one is. It's funny how one side of the air fryer cooks faster than the other, so always be sure to check on both sides that your temperatures are equal. So this one here, this side here only took, I believe it was 22 minutes. And this one here is probably going to be an extra couple minutes just to finish it up. It was still a little bit pink. I don't know if it's because I had 3 pieces in that side versus the 2 on the other, but it doesn't always cook evenly. So you could have your choice of cooking this ahead and cooling it, and then you could shred it, or you can just cut it into little bite-sized pieces. I'm kind of like last minute, what am I going to make for dinner tonight? I felt like enchiladas, and so here I am making them, and like I said, this works just as well. So I'm going to finish shredding this into little pieces. Alright, so I just checked. We are fully cooked. We are well above 165 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know why it switched over to Celsius. We need Fahrenheit. There we go. Okay, so we're about 179 and 165 is cooked, so perfect. So, so far I've cut up 2 chicken breasts and I need 3 cups. So, I've got 1. So I think about 3.5 roughly pieces should work. I don't always, I don't know, I always cook extra chicken, so I never really count how much. That's why I'm not really 100% sure. I figured this would be enough that I can do my 3 cups, have a piece for work for tomorrow, like I said, since 1 piece got eaten on me, and have a little extra left over for Gracie and Lucy because, well, they got to eat too, right? And it's not fair if we have dinner without them. I know a lot of people don't believe in giving their food or their dogs table food, but honestly, I want to keep my dogs healthy too. And so, you know, every once in a while when we're at the store or whatever, and I find a good deal on, like, you know, fast fry steaks or, you know, liver or chicken gizzards or whatever, I also actually bought a dehydrator, sorry. So I use that for them. I mean, I will use it for certain things myself as well. I've got some rose petals that I'm going to use from, my daughter had gotten some beautiful roses, my youngest, for my birthday. And once they died, and now I'm drying out all the rose petals, and I'm going to use those in a couple of different recipes. I will show you that once they're fully dried. And so far I've got, like I said, 1 piece, there's 2 cups, and so we'll need, like I said, about half of another piece, and we should be good to go for the 3 cups. While doing that, make sure to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so now we're going to start making the chicken mixture. So I'm going to add in the 3 cups of chicken. I am going to add in 1 can of the chili, chopped green chilies, just for a little bit of extra flavor. All in there. And then we are going to add in a teaspoon of hot sauce. I like this one from Lola's. It's our local, little local company that their hot sauce is really good. So figured I'd add that one in. Then I got a teaspoon of garlic powder, but I'm gonna have to rinse this first. Okay, there we go. Rinse that. I'm gonna add in, like I said, a full teaspoon of garlic powder. Add that all in there. Then I'm gonna add a teaspoon of ground cumin. And then a teaspoon of chili powder. Brand new one, forgot to open it. I'm sorry, guys. I hate these things. Anybody else use your teeth to open this? It's just quick and easy in the moment, right? All right, so now we got a teaspoon of chili powder in there. And then we are going to add a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm using my my Baja's sea salt. I love this sea salt. I use it in my morning water, my lemon water for electrolytes. So this stuff is excellent. It's got all the vitamins, nutrients that you need from a salt for to keep your electrolytes up during the day. So if you do exercise a lot, you definitely want to keep your electrolytes up, because that will really make or break your workout. Energy-wise, for sure. That and still eating carbs, especially as you get older. If you're a woman that's over 40, you definitely want to keep your carbs in there. So we're just going to stir that up, and we're going to cook it for about 5 minutes just to kind of heat it up, and then we're going to put it aside. Okay, so now that we've got that all cooked up and heated properly, I'm just going to throw it back into the bowl that I used when I was cutting it up. And then we're going to start the sauce. So I don't like dirtying too many dishes. I do have a dishwasher, but since there's not, it's just my mother-in-law, my husband, and I, which he works shift work, so he's not always home. And my mother-in-law that lives here, that I cook for on occasion. I just do dishes by hand now. The kids are all grown up and moved out, unless they come over for big dinners and stuff like that. So I like to clean as I go. Let me know in the comments. Do you clean up as you go, or do you wait till the end and just use your dishwasher? Anyway, so I'm going to use this. It's just strained tomatoes. I'm not going to use the full jar. It depends on how saucy you like it, but I would use probably about 3/4 of it. So I'm going to use the same pan that I used to cook the chicken. I'm just going to add a little bit more. And that's probably good there. Add that like that, and then I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic. Bring that down a little bit. Don't want to get shot by it. You can add more or less garlic depending on how you like it. I love garlic, so I sometimes add more and sometimes I add less, or I'll just, like I said, 2 is easy. I'm just being, trying to keep things as close to the recipe that I've been following, like I said, for years, but I have changed up a few things, like the cheeses and, different stuff anyway. But just to kind of make it my own, I'm going to add this. So one thing I don't like about these is that you lose half the garlic in the press, but it definitely makes it a lot easier than trying to chop it into little pieces. So get that out. There we go. Add that in. And then I'm gonna add a teaspoon and a half of, again, the chili powder. Teaspoon, roughly. And a half chili powder. And then I'm gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon again of sea salt. So the reason I'm actually using this instead of the little scooper that actually comes with it, so this is a little scooper that comes with it, and they look really close, but believe it or not, this is just a tad bit smaller. So you get a little bit more than a 1/4 teaspoon in the electrolyte mix. And then, sorry, I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And we are just going to stir that up and just keep it, heat it till it's warm. It doesn't take very long. Make sure that you give it a few minutes so that the garlic can, you know, get flavor up that sauce decently. Smells so good. Okay, so now that it's all heated, I am going to add in the chicken mixture back in here. Okay, set that aside. And make sure that it's all nice and warm again, even though the sauce is pretty hot, so it's pretty good about heating it up. And then I'm going to use 5 of these keto wraps. I like keto wraps. They're not much better for you than regular wraps, except for they're a little higher in fiber, so it actually is better for you in the long run. Just because, like I said, the higher the fiber, the less carbs that you're actually getting out of them. And you do want to keep carbs in your diet, but not to the degree that it's too much, right? I mean, you want to incorporate everything, all food groups into your diet, but not to the degree of one being over. So you want to have more protein than you do carbs. Therefore, finding something that still has carbs but a little lower will actually give you the energy to get your workouts in, but not to the point where it will get too fat. So then we're just going to take this mixture and we're just going to kind of divide that in between these wraps. I could probably actually even use another one. These wraps are pretty small. That's the only thing I don't really like about the keto wraps, at least the ones we have here in Canada. They're not quite as big as some of them that I bought over in the States. But I didn't have time to go over there, so I am just doing this. I'm going to add in, like I said, one more, which is perfect. Last one. And might even have a little bit extra in case you want some without the wrap, which is good just on its own too. Like if you're following a no keto or a no carb diet. But like I said, I don't suggest this for any woman that's over 40 to cut out carbs, because you need those carbs. Trust me, you really need those carbs as you get older. Just not to the degree that some people do. That's the biggest part, right? Is balance in everything we do in life. It just makes a really good difference. And I just realized what I did. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to use the little bit of sauce that's left in the bottom of the pan. Ouch! And I'm just going to throw that in there. Just a very thin layer. And I'm actually going to take the rest of it and heat it up just to get some for the top layer. Turn that back on, and we are just going to maybe add just a little bit of sprinkle into them all of cheese, nothing too crazy. And then, there we go. And then we are going to wrap. Hopefully I didn't overfill these too much, which it looks like I did. I like to overfill these things. I don't know why I do it, but I do. But hey, you know what? Don't make the same mistakes I do. You're gonna take it, flip it in, I sometimes use, like I said, the bigger wraps, so it's hard to always judge, but I made way more than I should have. And, you know, push that in. Come on. All that in. I think I should have used a little bit bigger of a tray, but hey, it's all good. Push that in. It all works out in the end, right? Take this over here, wrap it up, and there you go. I'm going to take what we've got left of this sauce, mix that all in, and then pour that on top so it has a good flavor. Make sure that we don't want to burn our wraps either. That's, you know, the other reason why you kind of want that sauce on top. And like I said, if you're not a big sauce fan, you can always omit the sauce from the chicken and just add it on the top and the bottom. But if you like the sauce, and like I said, it's just tomatoes, it's good for you. I always make sure to get a glass jar of just tomatoes, not the can. Because there's actually aluminum in your cans of tomatoes, and tomatoes are acidic, and they will actually leach out any of the aluminum out of the can. So you don't want that in your tomato sauce. Trust me. They're finding more and more that Alzheimer's, dementia, all that kind of stuff can be because of the aluminum, and so yeah, I try to stay away from anything canned, especially anything that is acidic, like tomatoes in cans. It's probably one of the worst foods for you. Talk to any nutritionist, they will tell you. So we put that like that, and then we are going to bake on the rack for roughly about 20 minutes. Whew. Just to get it nice and toasty hot. And we wait. Now we take them out of the oven. Look at that, yummy. So just serve it, and you got yourself a decent, healthy enchilada that's lower carb and full of protein.